Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Liverpool in race to sign most in-demand, free transfer of all time. There is one name on Liverpool fans' transfer wish lists right now, Crystal Palace's Marc Guehi. Going into the season with two reliable centre-backs, an injury-ridden veteran and a young and proven Italian signing, was always going to be a massive risk. After 7 games, the error was confirmed. Giovanni Leone's ACL tear has left the Reds with 3 senior players in that position, and it all could have been avoided if an extra £5 million had been tabled when Guehi was approached for over a transfer. Palace intended to consider Liverpool's initial £30 million approach, and it was nearly enough for the Eagles to let their captain go, but in the end, they back out of the deal, and it's cost the Reds big time. The fight for the Englishman's signature was always going to be absurd, yet each week it gets worse. Everyone wants to sign Guehi. According to TBR Football, the 25-year-old is assessing his options ahead of the January transfer window, while looking at which clubs might be interested in signing him as a free agent in June. We're already aware of interest from Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and Inter Milan, and the report adds that Chelsea, Manchester City and Tottenham are looking at the player's situation as well. However, the latest update in the report is that Manchester United are going to throw their hat into the ring for him, which makes it 8 known potential suitors for Liverpool's main centre-back target. As you'd expect, Guehi isn't rushing to decide where he goes next, especially since he'll only continue to attract more and more attention. The longer he waits before he confirms his plans. The player's reaction to his failed Liverpool move was remarkably calm, recognizing that it was just one of those things that was out of his hands. He's only reaffirmed his status as an upstanding pro. Speaking on the interest in the Englishman, Graham Bailey said, "I said months ago that Marc Guehi is going to be one of the most in-demand dose-man free transfers of all time, and that is how it is shaping up. He's going to have his pick." Inter Milan's interest appears to revolve a potential January approach, rather than embroiling themselves in a bun fight in the summer, but nonetheless, the competition is going to be feisty. Liverpool themselves have ruled out the option of paying for the England international now, so we're committed to hoping that Guehi still wants a move to Merseyside 12 months after his failed transfer. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, contract updates, and insider reactions from Anfield. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool FC updates and breaking football news. Our second news is Liverpool plan to spend £202 million in January on 3 signings in first step of transformation. Liverpool have grand plans to spend another £202 million in the January transfer window on 3 new players, according to reports. After making the perfect start to their Premier League title defence by winning their first 5 matches in a row, Liverpool are now fighting to stay in touching distance of leaders Arsenal. The Gunners are now 7 points clear of defending champions Liverpool after Arne Slot's side lost 4 Premier League games in a row to Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Manchester United and Brentford. After losing Giovanni Leone to a bad injury in September, Slot hinted that there was only a chance in the market if Liverpool suffered more injury pain. Slot said ahead of their 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace, "That all depends on whether we get more injuries, yes or no, and if there's a chance in the market, all the answers I always give. But I would not prefer to go to 24-25 players. Also, if it is ever a situation where I lead a team that has 4 or 5 injuries throughout the whole season, it might be a bit smarter to go to 24-25, but recent history showed that we have a good record, until now. We don't have 5 or 6 injuries at the same time throughout the whole season. If that would be the situation, then we would end up with 15 to 16 players and that would normally be difficult. So it's a choice I like to make, but I think it is also a financial choice that we as a club have to make. If we want to keep these top players, we cannot have 24-25 of them. But now things have changed, despite Liverpool getting back on track with a 2-0 win over Aston Villa at Anfield on Saturday, with the Reds not clicking in recent weeks, and now Spanish website Fichajes insists that Liverpool are planning to spend €230 million, £202 million, in the January transfer window in order to turn around their season. The Reds want to make 3-star signings with the Merseysiders prepared to offer close to €60 million for Real Madrid midfielder Eduardo Camavinga. On their pursuit of Paris Saint-Germain's Vitinha, the report adds, Liverpool believes Vitinha could be the ideal addition to control the midfield. His price tag is around €90 million, a high figure but manageable within the club's financial plan. His arrival would bring creativity, attacking prowess, and a high level of technical ability, precisely what the Anfield side is looking for to take a decisive step forward. Liverpool see Inter Milan defender Alessandro Bastoni as the ideal heir to Virgil van Dijk, with Fischages continuing. The defense is also a focus of attention. The chosen player to reinforce it is Alessandro Bastoni, currently with Inter Milan and one of the most promising centre-backs in Europe. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, contract updates, and insider reactions from Anfield. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool FC updates and breaking football. Our third news is world-class centre-back has his heart set on Liverpool transfer. Liverpool are a work in progress at the moment, but this was always going to be the case. Richard Hughes has embarked on a new era at Anfield. Over the summer, there was a major overhaul. He brought in several new players and allowed several players to leave. It has had an impact on the squad. Liverpool have brought in a new left-back, right-back, number 10, 2 forwards and a goalkeeper as well. Naturally, things are going to take time for everything to click. The players and new teammates need to build chemistry. Football is a team game and it only works if you are working together as a united. Hughes' job also isn't finished just yet. He cannot rebuild Liverpool over just one summer. This is a long-term project that is very much ongoing. An area where Hughes continues to look to strengthen the Reds is at the back. The Liverpool sporting director tried to sign more than one centre-back in the summer window. He succeeded in bringing in Giovanni Leone but failed in his efforts to sign Marc Guehi. Since then, Liverpool have explored the market for other options. Nico Schlotterbeck is on the club's radar and he would be a fantastic acquisition due to his ball-playing skills. Guehi also remains a subject of interest. Although Liverpool will be concerned that the path to sign the world-class England international is now no longer as clear-cut as before. With his contract expiring at Palace at the end of the season, he's free to go and sign for anyone. Over the summer, Guehi gave his word to the Reds that he wanted only Liverpool. Now, having seen that move fall through, it is open in the air what he's going to decide. Or is it? With Real Madrid and Bayern Munich circling, a lot of reports recently have said that Liverpool do not hold an advantage in the race. However, Indy Kyla, who has become increasingly more reliable, contradicts that. According to a recent report of his on X account, Guehi has his heart set on a move to Liverpool. So it looks like the Crystal Palace defender may still be looking to join the Reds after all. And what didn't happen last summer will now happen next summer. As additions go, you could think of few better players to add to this squad. Guehi is exactly what Liverpool need. Liverpool are in a transfer frenzy, eyeing the most in-demand free transfer ever while planning a £202 million January spree to sign 3 world-class stars. Nico Schlotterbeck and midfield targets like Alexis Mac Allister's replacements are central to Arne Slot's ambitious transformation plan. Stay updated with all the latest transfer news and rumours. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, contract updates, and insider reactions from Anfield. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool FC updates and breaking football news. Our fourth news is Didi Hamann says BVB's Nico Schlotterbeck would be a great signing for Liverpool. Nico Schlotterbeck has some big suitors including Bayern Munich and Liverpool. Borussia Dortmund centre-back Nico Schlotterbeck is a primary transfer target for a few clubs, including Bayern Munich and Liverpool. However, noted pundit Didi Hamann believes that the Germany international would be a good fit alongside Virgil van Dijk at Liverpool before eventually taking over for him. Bayern Munich are stepping up their interest in Nico Schlotterbeck. He was absolutely outstanding on Saturday. He's been out with an injury for 4 or 5 months and only been back for 4 or 5 weeks. He's a natural leader, Hamann told esportsbets.com. Liverpool are interested, but you don't know how long Virgil van Dijk is going to be there. The perfect situation would be to bring somebody in who maybe plays with Van Dijk for 1 or 2 years and then takes over Van Dijk's role. I think he'd be a great signing for Liverpool, and a lot of other teams as well. Schlotterbeck could have his choice of teams in the coming months, but Borussia Dortmund will make a big attempt to keep him. Will the defender seek to be the next BVB big name to jump ship, or will he become a pillar of the club's future? Bayern Munich has kept up its winning ways and things are all good in Bavaria. However, that does not mean that the Bayern Munich content machine has ceased production on talking points for us. Let's jump in and have some fun. This is what we have on tap for this edition of the Bavarian Football Works weekend warm-up show. Should we make anything of the Leonard Carl story from TZ? Why some folks could be overreacting to much ado about nothing. Let's review Bayern Munich summer transfers and loan. How are they doing? Would any of them have helped this season? Touching on some of the most recent news, Liverpool and Manchester City to striker out on Michael Ollis. Liverpool's Florian Wirtz already looking for exit to Real Madrid? Reviewing the debut episode of HBO's Welcome to Derry. Liverpool are in a transfer frenzy, eyeing the most in-demand free transfer ever while planning a £202 million January spree to sign 3 world-class stars. Nico, Schlotterbeck and midfield targets like Alexis Mac Allister's replacements are central to Arne Slot's ambitious transformation plan. Stay updated with all the latest transfer news and rumours. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, contract updates, and insider reactions from Anfield. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool FC updates and breaking football news. Our fifth news is Transfer Centre Live. Football transfer news, updates and rumours. Everton need to sign a striker in January. Sky Sports' Jamie Carragher on Everton's need for a striker after their 1-1 draw with Sunderland. The biggest thing for Everton this season is to not be in a relegation scrap. They've got Fulham at the weekend before the international break. It's an important game to win and definitely not to lose. Where Fulham are now, they would go above Everton with a win. I look at the teams in the bottom 3, Nottingham Forest. I think they have too many good players to end up getting relegated. I think the same with West Ham, and I think they will have a go in January, transfers-wise. That I'm not saying Everton will go down, I don't believe that at all. But they don't want to be looking over their shoulder for the rest of the season. Everton need to find a striker. What they have right now is not good enough, and that reason alone could mean that between now and the rest of the season they are looking over their shoulders in terms of staying in the Premier League. They have new owners in, obviously a lot better than they had before, but striker is the one glaring position that Everton need to fill in January. They have to find somebody. Uncertain how O'Neill's reappointment would be received. Sky Sports News Amber Sandhu at the Molineux. It's been an event for 24 hours for Wolves. James Collins and Richard Walker will be overseeing first-team coaching whilst the club appoints a new head coach for the first team. In terms of conversations being had, we know that a number of options are being explored, including Gary O'Neill, of course, former Bournemouth manager and of course, had a managerial career at Wolves. He was sacked last year after 16 months at the club. He came in August 2023, taking over from Julian Lopetegui, and took Wolves to 14th position. The highest that they were that season was 8th as well. They finished 14th and also reached an FA Cup quarter-final. But the second part of that season didn't end too well for him. It seemed that he lost his way a little bit. There was a lack of discipline and control within that squad as well, and that saw his departure on the 15th of December, after they lost to Ipswich Town 2-1. He potentially could be coming back to the Molineux. I'm not sure how well received he will be by fans. So the second option that is also no stranger to Molineux is Rob Edwards, of course, the former Luton manager. He's at Middlesbrough at the moment, where they're doing really well, second in the Championship. He had a playing career here, over 100 appearances for Wolves and was part of the academy as well. Those conversations are being had, but we do understand that the club is in no rush to make that appointment due to the predicament there, but we do know that they've got 28 games to turn it around, so they need to make sure that it's right. Our last news is Bye Alexis Mac Allister. Liverpool plan incredible £150 million midfield upgrade. Liverpool have money on their mind again. Watching the £450 million summer transfer spend was a sight to behold. It was truly extraordinary. The Reds have always been considered one of the biggest clubs in the world, but record transfer fees didn't appear to be something Liverpool would entertain. Under FSG, it's always been about getting value for money and buying talented players that can be developed into world-class stars. We've seen things gradually begin to change recently, with a greater focus on getting the squad age down, so that the club is future-proofed, and naturally, the cost of transfers has increased as a result. But stars like Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak were never on fans' radar once common sense was applied. Nonetheless, the pair are now Reds and it's taking Arne Slot a short while to adapt to them. Eventually things will click and we won't look back. But some players have started to show signs of decline amongst all the carnage we're seeing on the pitch, and plans to replace them are being made. Mac Allister on the way out? According to Football Fancast, one of those players being considered for a departure is Alexis Mac Allister, who might be sold in order to make way for a new £150 million starlet from the Premier League. In their report, it said, sources tell Football Fancast that Adam Wharton is keen to join Liverpool in 2026, and FSG are considering caving to Real Madrid's interest in Alexis Mac Allister in order to fund the move. The Argentinian is seen as lacking the exuberance that Adam Wharton has in spades right now, with it proving to be harder than initially thought for him to rid himself of last season's injury concerns. Mac Allister is still only 26 years old, and there's nothing to suggest that he couldn't return to his former self once whatever is bugging him has been dealt with. But the interest from Real Madrid is definitely worth considering, with a £100 million price tag being rumoured for him. Breaking the transfer record again with an approach for Wharton is difficult to fathom, but we'd have the money for it. We saw with Isak's move that Liverpool are more than capable of bringing the price down to a more suitable level, but we're still talking about a remarkable transfer fee, even if Wharton is worth it. The 21-year-old Englishman has proven himself in the Premier League, and his potential is massive, but injuries have been a concern recently, and it's a lot of money and stock to invest into one player. If FSG decide to go down that road, then Liverpool fans will be supportive of the decision, but letting a player go to Madrid is never a popular call, and other areas of the team also need major investment. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumours.